Hi, Ed.
How are you, Mario?
Good.
Ready to go?
Warm enough for you?
I don't know. I'm in air conditioning.
Mhm.
I don't go out so much. But it's supposed to be hot. Next couple of days, it's going to be murder.
It's supposed to be Shabbos.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Seven.
We are on Vav Amud Beis near the bottom.
Yep.
Anu Beitrei the Avu Dairi. There were two people who lived in the same house, but it's a two-story house. One lived upstairs, one lived downstairs. Itber Tatai, the bottom dwelling sort of collapsed, like the floor collapsed. It didn't cause collapse of the second floor, but it caused the first floor to collapse. Like the walls sunk into the earth. And everything lowered to the point where the lower guy can't get into his apartment. The upper guy can live, but the lower guy cannot. So the lower guy proposes, Tonivne, let's rebuild the house together. Let's destroy the whole house and build a new two-story house. What do you mean? I have no problem. I'm living fine. I have no responsibility to build your dira. Fine. I will accept the responsibility to destroy the house and I'll build it. Amar Leslie, but then meanwhile, after you've destroyed the house and rebuilding it, I have no place to live. I'll rent you, I'll put you up at the Hilton Hotel for 6 months until we're ready to rehabit the new dwelling. I don't want to live in a hotel. I want to stay in my apartment. But I can't live in my apartment. So shafa kriskavol, the shafa kriskavol, crawl on your belly, and when you go in, and crawl on your belly when you go out. So the upper floor guy is not wavering. And on Rav Chanan, you can't force the guy living upstairs to do any of these things. That's as long as the beams of the roof have not collapsed. Below 10 tfachim from the ground. If the ceiling of the upper story is within 10 tfachim from the ground, Motzi Omerle, the guy dwelling in the lower place can say, your roof is in my rishus. And therefore, you can't stay in your dira. So in that situation, he has the upper hand and can force the guy living upstairs to go along with his plans.
Is it the roof or the floor of the second floor is in his shoes?
It's the roof, the gag. It's the roof.
Oh. Wow.
Or let's say it's the bottom guy's roof, which is the second story's floor.
Yeah, that's what I
So,
thought.
so if the second story's floor or the first guy's the lower story's roof has collapsed to within 10 tefachim of the ground, then he can kick the upper guy out and have the upper guy participate in the rebuilding of the house. Hanamili, as long as they haven't made a condition before they moved into the house together, where the upper guy can hold out. But if they made a condition that if the house should collapse, they have to rebuild together, then they destroy it and rebuild it together. To what extent do they rebuild the house? Rumo kechatzi orko kechatzi rochbo. The height has to be half of the width and half of the length. Armale Rav Lavamina l'chilotitli bebuki sriki. To Rav Nachman. These are things that don't make sense. Hachiyam Rav Nachman. Ki dedari inshi, you have to rebuild it the way local custom demands. Kama on Rav Unabred Rav Yoshu ki hechi da aili isrisa de mechuzav hadar. You have to allow reeds that are made of mechuzah to go in and turn around. That's the shear for what the apartments should be. New case.
Hey, can you mute? Do you have a radio on or somebody talking loud? Hey?
Oh,
Okay, thank
Ahu
you.
gavra David bnei Ashisa churi kavi dechavri. One guy built a wall opposite a window of his neighbor. Armele koma aflut alay. Your wall is decreasing the light that comes into my apartment through the window. Armele scharna lecha hachav avidin lecha kvila el mi yishiso. I want my wall where it is. I will pay to stop up that window, and I'll make other windows in your wall above the wall that I've created, so you'll have light. But opening up new windows is going to damage my wall. Fine. I will accept upon myself to destroy the whole wall up until the windows. I'll rebuild it. And I will make new windows above the area of my wall so the light will come in. The lower wall that you're going to destroy is old. And the new one, and that I have more faith in that, and the new one that you build will not be miskayim. Amar le starna lo ad la ara, ubanina lo vavina lo kvi begave. Fine, I will destroy the whole wall till the ground, and then I'll make windows there. Amar le chada ashita charta bekula beis atika lo kaima. Having a house with 3 old walls and 1 new wall is not going to last. So listen to this. This guy who's built the wall opposite this guy's window, and the guy living there doesn't like that, has now been given an offer by the neighbor to tear down the whole house. And I'll build you a new house and windows there that will not be affected by my wall. Meanwhile, though, when you destroy my house and rebuild it, I don't have a place to live. I'll rent you at the Hilton for 6 months. It's too much of a schlepper, I don't want to do it. He is in his rights and he can refuse all of these requests by the neighbor who built the wall. Now the Gemara said, that's the same case as the case we just learned before about an upstairs and a downstairs. Why is this any different? Vasu lamali. Why repeating it? A kamash balan, the avagav de lo mishtamish elativnu beitzivi ba'alma. This house, he isn't even dwelling in the house. He's using it to store wood and straw. He can still say that you're building the wall, which is affecting the light through the window, is a damage to me, and I can prevent you from doing it. Hanu beitrei achi depaga b'adei. Two brothers divided assets that fell to them in a Yerusha from their father. Chad matya asplidi v'chad matya tarbitzna. One got a trucklet, which is like a house, and the other got a garden. Ozlahu de matya tarbitzna, the kobani ashita puma de asplita. The one that got the garden built a wall next to the house. Amar lei, kama afotalai. I don't want your wall, you're causing darkness. Amar lei, bididi kobani, I'm building it on my property. Amar Rav Chana, bidin ko amar lei. He's allowed to do it. Amar levino Ravashi, maishna me'adatanya. Why is this different than what we learned in the Baraisa? Shnei achin shechalku. Two brothers that divided assets. Echad me'am notel sde kerem, ve'echad me'am notel sde lava. One inherited a vineyard, the other inherited a wheat field. Yesh lo lebala kerem arba amos besada lava. The vineyard guy gets, and they're next to each other. The vineyard guy gets 4 ames in the wheat field because he has to drive tractors completely around his field. He gets arba ames to work his field. Sha'al manas kein cholku. That was the t'nai of the chalukah between the brothers. So the shaila is, here, one guy got a house, one guy got a garden. And the guy in the garden is building a wall opposite the window of the trucklet. Why doesn't he get the same benefit of arba amos or some amount of light that comes to his trucklet via the garden? Well, he should have the right, just like the vineyard and the wheat field, he has to give up. He has a certain amount of land there. Armalei, hasum de oladodi. They did an estimate of the value of the division, and they already included this makama avoida in the division.
Isn't this an issue of Kilayah?
So again?
Is this an issue of Kilayah?
No, because they're not. The wheat and the vineyards are not growing together. They're just neighborly.
No, but you still need the space between them, no?
He gets arba, the guy who got the grape, the guy who got the vineyard gets 4 ames wide strip from the brother that inherited the tvua, the wheat thing. Usually it's not going to be wheat there. It's going to be a road, so he can bring a tractor there. So there's no klal kerem. There's klal kerem if you grow wheat and grapes together. Here they're not being grown together. So the Gemara says, "Hasam de alu lahadodi." They've already divided with each person getting what they're supposed to get. Avalochamai de lo alu lahadodi. Maybe they didn't calculate here. Are we dealing with stupid people? The high shackle aspladya, the high shackle tabitz of lahadodi. Listen, 2 brothers. One got a house, one got a garden. But you don't think they calculated the value? Maybe they calculated the value of the bricks and the beams. But maybe the airspace they didn't take in mind. The schus of the air, of the light coming into his house from the garden That's not something that everybody takes into account. Okay, lay. So let the owner of the house say to his brother who's trying to build this wall, Mi'ikara asli the plugli. So you took the garden, you gave me the house. Hashta mashvisli idruna. Now it's not a house anymore. It's like it's going to be a nothing with the light not coming in. So the division wasn't good. Amrav Simi Barasi, Shema Ba'alma Palagle. It's the name. You got a place called a Truckland. Even though it can't be used as a Truckland anymore, it has a shame Truckland. And the Gemara is going to give us examples. Milo Tanya, Omer Base Kor Ofrani Moichel. Person says to his friend, I'm going to sell you a base core of land. It's half a core. Higiyu. The metach is not bottle because this place is called the base core. It wasn't the measurement, it's the name. Similarly, Pardes ani moichel. I'm going to sell you a pardes. There's no pomegranates there. Higiyu. This place is called a pardes. Going to sell you a vineyard. There's no grapes there. This place is called Kerem, like Beit HaKerem in Yerushalayim. So the Gemara says, me dummy. Those cases are not similar to our case. There's a transaction going on between a buyer and a seller. The seller can say, I sold you the name. But here the owner of this Truckland can say, listen, I divided with you, I let you have the garden, and I'm going to take the house because I understood that I'm going to have the airspace and the light coming in. Because that's the way our father lived there. Now you're going to change it with building a wall and no light coming in from the windows. I don't have to stand for that. So Rav Chama had said that the owner of the Gina can build the wall. Armele Mar Yanuko Markshisha Pedro Chizmar Vashi. Nardoi Litamayu. The Chachamim of Nardo, because Rav Chama was from Nardo, follows Shmuel, who was also from Nardo. Rav Nachman Shmuel, Ha'achin Shechalku, brothers that divided assets of their father. Ein lahem lo derech ze al ze. Even though there were previously roads going to each place, they don't have a claim on each other. V'lo chaloin ze al ze, and not with windows. V'lo b'solom ze, not with ladders. V'lo masamayim ze al ze. V'zar ben shal chos k'vusei. And Rav Chama holds it the same way. Each brother can do what he says. The other brother cannot prevent him. But Rava Omar Yeshland, they do have a right to prevent the other guy from damaging what they think is their property. We hold like Shmuel. We possibly like Shmuel that they don't have the right. Haush started the Asmi Dunafik Ale Tavra. The Yisomim inherited an IOU from their father that somebody owes them money. But somebody produced a receipt that says it was paid. You know, we don't collect on that star because we worry that maybe it was paid, but we don't tear up the star either. Now what? We don't tear it up. Well, excuse me. We don't use the star to collect money with it because somebody produced a shoiva that they was paid. But so then why not tear up the star? Maybe when they get older, they'll find other proofs that maybe the shoiva, the receipt was counterfeit, and they'll be able to collect. What's the halacha? Halacha is like Rav Chama. The bar mitav, except for this case of a receipt. The sadi b'shakri lo mechaskina. We don't say that the people who signed on the shoiver are shakranim. We rely on it. We do tear up the shtar, not like what was said before. Mazutra braid Rav Mari Omar, Bahanami Hilchos Rav Chama. No, Balachos like Rav Chama, because maybe there's a suffix in the kashrus of the shoiver. The im isa the tavra ma'adif, it's a good shoiver. Why wasn't it produced when the father was alive? Since it wasn't presented when the father was alive, maybe it is counterfeit. So that's why the halach is we don't collect with the shtar, but we don't tear it up either. Mishnah. You have a bunch of people living in a chutzner. We force everyone live noise beishar. Beishar is like a guardhouse at the opening, where you put a shomer, you put a watchman there. So this is a joint function of the chutzner. Everyone has to pay for it. Ve'delas l'chutzner, and a door. Not every chutzner needs a beishar. Then similarly, every city needs a wall around it, and then at the gate, a breach, that's called l'sayim ubriach, because that's for shmira. Not every city is big enough that it demands a choyma. Kama yehi, what is considered? What time of residence? How long does a person have to dwell in a city that he's considered a citizen, so that he's obligated to participate in these expenses? 12 months. Now, kanaba beis dira. Maybe you're renting, then you need 12 months. But if you buy a house right away in that city, you become a citizen right away. Now, Lememra Beishar Mal Yusa, is a Beishar a good thing? There was a certain chassid that Eliyahu would come and learn with him. Avad Beishar, the Sula Mishtoi Badei, this chassid built a Beishar, and Eliyahu stopped visiting him. Why? Because Aniyim are prevented to coming into the houses when you have a Beishar with a shomer. They're preventing anyone from coming in. So loy kasha. Ha megavoy. If you build the Beishar on the inside, within the courtyard, then the ani can come in. Ha mibavroy. But if you build it on the outside, that will prevent aniyim, and that's a bad thing. V'boy same avam and bavroy. Both are talking about when you build the Beishar on the outside. The loy kasha. Hadi islay del sadalesle. It depends if there's a door or not. If there's a door, the aniyim will be thwarted. If there's no door, they can come in. Iboy sema hava the islay delas. That they both agree that there's a door. The loy kasha hadi islay poisachas. A door with a key. Then the aniyim can't get in. Hadi leslay poisachas. If it doesn't have a key, then they can go in. Iboy sema hava hadi islay poisachas. They're talking about doors with keys. Loy kasha. If the key only opens from the inside, the ani can't get in. If the key's on the outside, the ani can get in, and then that's not a problem. Then the Mishnah said, we force people in chutzner to contribute to building a beishar and a door in the chutzner. Tanya, local chutzner is beishar. A courtyard that's directly next to the Rishus Harabim, then Ru'ui Beishar. Then there's a reason to have a Beishar, because the Rishus Harabim would look in. If the chutzner is not fronting a Rosh Hashanah, then it doesn't need a Beis Shar. How come the Rabbanan don't hold of this? Even if the Chotzer is not next to Rosh Hashanah, the public will gain entrance to it. Then we said that the citizens of the city, you force them to build a wall and a gate. Ton Rabbanan, not every city needs a wall. If it's a city on the border, it needs a wall. If it's not near a border, it doesn't need a wall. Rabbanan made no such distinction. Because Zimnin Demakrav also, guys, so sometimes the Roman legions come, even if it's not on the border. It's better for a city to have a wall. Boy named Rabbi Lazar Rav Yechna, Kishein Goivin, when they do the calculation to collect from the citizens to build a wall. Lefi nefashos, is it per head? Goivin odim lefi shvach mamin. Goivin. Or maybe it's a certain percentage of the wealth of the city. Or lefi mamin goivin. We do it based on the wealth of the city. And that's the halacha. Do the houses that are closer to the wall that's going to be built, maybe they have to pay more? Or is it just general value? Actually, it's based on proximity to the wall. The Rif holds like Rav Yochanan, that the closer people to the wall pay. Some say it's based on value. If the ones that are very wealthy, you take a certain percentage from them. If someone close to the wall is poor, and somebody far from the wall is wealthy, you only collect from the wealthy person. When they're equal, one is closer, one is farther, you collect more from the one who's closer. All of this is like Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya Rama D'Shuad Rabbanan. Rabbi Yehuda levied the tax on the Chachamim as well. We don't need Shmira. The Chsiv, it says in Tehillim, V'li ma yikaru echa kel, asaprim mechol yir biyun. The Tamil Chachamim will be more than the sand. Now, Esperem Laman. That tzaddikim are more numerous than sand. I understand. Bnei Yisrael as a whole are said to be like the sand. Tzaddikim atzma, which are only a chelik of Am Yisrael, is more than the chol. Mechol yirbiyun. How could that be? Elachi kamra asaprin masayim shel tzaddik. It's not their numbers; it's their maisim are greater mechol yirbiyun, and therefore there's a kavachomer. Umachal muid megin alayam. What protects the sandy beaches? What protects the land from the ocean? The sand on the beach. So masem shel tzadikim shemerubin, the righteous acts of tzaddikim, which are even greater. L'kol sheken shemegidim alayim. So Rish Lakish was timing. We don't need protection of a wall. We don't have to contribute to the tax. Kiyasel Kamei, Rav Yochanan. When Rish Lakish came to Rav Yochanan, he told him over the story. Amarle, my time Rav Yochanan said, Rish Lakish, why didn't you give a pasuk from here? Ani choma v'shadai k'migdalos. Ani choma zu Torah v'shadai k'migdalos elu tamid chachamim. So this pasuk could have shown that the Chachamim don't need protection. In fact, the halacha is in the Rambam that you don't have to collect from Talmid Chachamim, that the Torah is the Shmira. Maybe you could use this, the same thing, in this whole debate about the people learning in Eretz Yisrael. The Torah is the Shmira. Maybe you don't have to collect from them. Maybe it's a raya to that. Okay. Tomorrow, back to our normal time.